नमस्कार, स्वागत और अभिनंदन आप सभी का। अखिल भारतीय शिक्षा समागम 2024 में राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति की चौथी वर्षगांठ के इस विशेष आयोजन में 6 थीमेटिक सत्रों में से ये सत्र केंद्रित होगा एनसीएफएफएस और एनसीएफएसई के सैलिएंट फीचर्स और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन रोड मैप पर। और इस रोड मैप पर बात करने के लिए हम सभी के बीच गणमान्य वक्ता उपस्थित हैं, जिनका अपने अपने कार्य क्षेत्रों में व्यापक अनुभव, दृष्टिकोण और इनके द्वारा किए जा रहे कार्यों में इनके प्रयोगों की सफलता की कहानियां हैं, जिन्हें सभी सुनेंगे यहाँ पर आज। और सभी प्रतिभागियों को आज हमारे वक्ताओं के अनुभवों को सुनने का अवसर मिलेगा। साथ ही आप सभी सत्र के अंत में भी अपने सुझाव, अपने विचार या अपने प्रश्न साझा कर सकेंगे। मैं आज के सत्र के वक्ताओं को मंच पर आमंत्रित करते हुए आप सभी प्रतिभागियों से उनका परिचय भी कराना चाहूँगा। हमारे साथ हैं दिनेश प्रसाद सकलानी सर, डायरेक्टर एनसीईआरटी। मैं आग्रहपूर्वक मंच पर उनका स्वागत करता हूँ, अभिनंदन करता हूँ। हमारे साथ हैं श्री सुनील बजाज, डायरेक्टर एससीईआरटी हरियाणा। तालियों के साथ हमारे अतिथियों का स्वागत कीजिए। हमारे साथ हैं प्रोफेसर रंजना अरोड़ा, प्रोफेसर एनसीईआरटी। मैं रंजना अरोड़ा मैम का भी स्वागत करता हूं मंच पर। श्री सुबीर शुक्ला, प्रिंसिपल कोऑर्डिनेटर इग्नस पहल। शुक्ला सर का भी स्वागत करते हैं। आप सभी से आग्रह करूंगा कि तालियों से स्वागत कीजिए। हमारे साथ हैं डॉक्टर ज्योति गुप्ता, डायरेक्टर प्रिंसिपल के आर मंगलम वर्ल्ड स्कूल, ग्रेटर कैलाश पार्ट 2 दिल्ली। डॉक्टर ज्योति गुप्ता का अभिनंदन है मंच पर। और हमारे साथ एक और वक्ता हैं चारू मैनी, जो कि प्रिंसिपल डीएवी पब्लिक स्कूल गुरुग्राम से हैं। चारू मैनी का भी मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं और आप सभी से आग्रह करता हूं कि तालियों के साथ स्वागत कीजिए। और अब मैं आग्रह करूंगा संयुक्त सचिव श्रीमती प्राची पांडे से। जी, शिक्षा सचिव सर को प्लांटर और अंगवस्त्र देकर उन्हें सम्मानित करें। धन्यवाद प्राची मैम। और अब आपसे ही निवेदन है कि आप हमारे आज के मॉडरेटर और वक्ता दिनेश प्रसाद सकलानी, डायरेक्टर एनसीईआरटी को अंगवस्त्र और पौधा देकर उनका स्वागत, उनका अभिनंदन करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम आपका। और अब निवेदन करना चाहूँगा अनुजैन, ज्वाइंट डायरेक्टर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्कूल एजुकेशन एंड लिटरेसी से वो आएँ और श्री सुनील बजाज जी का स्वागत करें अंगवस्त्र और प्लांटर देकर। धन्यवाद मैम। और निवेदन है कि प्रोफेसर रंजना अरोड़ा को अंगवस्त्रम और प्लांटर देकर उनका अभिनंदन करें। मिस्टर सुबीर शुक्ला, मैं शंकर राय सर से निवेदन करना चाहूँगा कि वो हमारे अतिथि सुबीर शुक्ला सर का स्वागत करें प्लांटर और अंगवस्त्रम देकर। धन्यवाद सर। सर से निवेदन है कि हमारी वक्ता डॉक्टर ज्योति गुप्ता का भी आप अभिनंदन करें, स्वागत करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर आपका। और मैं अनु जैन मैम से एक बार फिर से अब आग्रह करना चाहूँगा कि मंच पर आएं और हमारी वक्ता चारू नैनी मैम का अभिनंदन करें, स्वागत करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका हमारे गणमान्य अतिथियों का स्वागत करने के लिए। राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 एक मजबूत और उच्च गुणवत्ता वाले राष्ट्रीय पाठ्यचर्या की आवश्यकता पर जोर देती है, ताकि ये सुनिश्चित हो कि सभी छात्रों के लिए सर्वोत्तम शिक्षा संभव हो, चाहे वो किसी भी पृष्ठभूमि, किसी भी क्षेत्र के हों। एक उत्कृष्ट पाठ्यक्रम और अच्छे शिक्षा शास्त्र के माध्यम से कोई भी छात्र स्वयं का एक बेहतर संस्करण बना सकता है। नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क एनसीएफ नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 के प्रमुख घटकों में से एक है, जो एनईपी 2020 के उद्देश्यों, सिद्धांतों और दृष्टिकोण को क्रियान्वित करने के लिए अग्रसर है। इस कड़ी में हमने एनसीएफएफएस और एनसीएफएसई को तैयार कर लिया है। सत्र को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा इस सत्र के मुख्य वक्ता और सत्र संचालक श्री दिनेश प्रसाद सकलानी सर का, निदेशक एनसीईआरटी हैं। श्री दिनेश प्रसाद सकलानी ने इससे पहले प्राचीन भारतीय इतिहास, संस्कृति और पुरातत्व में विशेषज्ञता के साथ एचएनबी गढ़वाल विश्वविद्यालय में इतिहास के प्रोफेसर के रूप में अपनी सेवाएं दी हैं। सर, इस सत्र का आरंभ करने के लिए आपका स्वागत है।
सभी को नमस्कार, गुड आफ्टरनून। सेक्रेटरी स्कूल एजुकेशन श्री संजय कुमार जी, our panelists, we have 5 panelists with us. Dr. Kalyan Chakrabarti could not come, but Sri Subir Shukla, Principal Coordinator, IGNS Group, Sri Sunil Bajaj, SCRT Director, Haryana, Dr. Jyoti Gupta, Director, Principal, KR Mangalam World School, Professor Ranjana Arora, and we have with us Ms. Charu Maini, Principal, DAB Public School. We have here distinguished gathering officers from the Ministry, Additional Secretary Bipin Kumar ji, Joint Secretary Prachi Pandey ji, Archana Shukla ji, and principals and faculty members from NCERT, all the stakeholders here. We have this great event today. We are celebrating the 4th anniversary of National Education Policy 2020, and prior to that we have been celebrating this Shiksha Saptah. We have some other eminent people with us, Dr. Ramkishan Rao ji or Sri Govind ji, and other people who are interested in this service of education. So this is great event. As I was talking about the Shiksha Saptah, so a lot of events have been taken place, and prior to that also we had different sessions today also. So this session is very important as it speaks about the NCFs. As we know that the process of developing the NCF has been very holistic itself and inclusive. As we know that the NEP was formulated on the basis of the lot of feedbacks from the stakeholders, lot of churning went into this, and out of that we developed the NCFSC. NCFFS foundational stage that was released on 20th October 2022, and based on that we developed the learning teaching material, and then we developed the NCF for school education, which was dedicated on 23rd August 2023. So this session aims to comprehensively introduce the National Curriculum Framework for the foundational stage and National Curriculum Framework for the Curriculum Framework for School Education as envisioned by the National Education Policy 2020. This session will provide an opportunity for the participants to explore key features such as integration of cultural rootedness, multilingualism, Indian knowledge system, art education, physical education and well-being, vocational education, educational technology, into the school curriculum, innovative pedagogical approaches, holistic assessment, perspectives, equity and inclusion, and practical implementation strategies to transform the educational landscape. The session will foster collaboration among educators, policymakers, and administrators to ensure effective adoption and execution of the new framework. So this will be the mandate of this session, and we know that we have been given time, so we have to honor the time also. 10 minutes are allocated to each panelist. For 10 minutes, they will speak on their theme, and then after that, we will have question and answer session also. 15 minutes have been dedicated for that question answer session also. So I have been also given the responsibility of being keynote speaker for this program. So this is my duty to take you through the journey of NCF formations, how the NCF came out of NEP. That is very important. We know that policy document is have the larger goals and larger big ideas, but how to exactly bring them into the effectiveness, that depends on the national curriculum frameworks. National curriculum frameworks are the exactness from where we derive the learning teaching material, which has been the national curriculum frameworks have been governed by the certain philosophical ideas and notions which have been taken into account while formulating the national curriculum frameworks. As we know that after NEP 2020, we have 25 cross-cutting themes, and based on those 25 cross-cutting themes, we formed the national focus groups, and 25 national position papers came out of those focus groups. And simultaneously, the states were also given these themes, and overall, more than 600 position papers from the states have been also received. And after that, taking into account the lot of feedbacks from the stakeholders, lot of stakeholders were invited, feedbacks were taken, and we also launched a digital survey, and then we also had consultative meetings with the higher education authority universities, so that we must ensure the linkages between the higher education and the school education, because so far we had been working in silos. School education was apart from the college higher education. So this had been the tragedy of our education system. But now this policy ensures the linkages, not only between higher education and school education, but linkages across the themes, across the cross-cutting areas. So this integration is very important part. And out of that, then we developed the national curriculum framework for the foundational stage. As we know, the structure of the education has been changed, school education has been changed. Now we have 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. The 5 years are very vital years. Those are dedicated to the foundational stage, and these years cater to the needs of the students who are in the age group from 3 to 8. So what is new about that? We have to, although we have put the national curriculum framework for foundational stage on public domain, and NCERT has also did lot of competency building programs, dissemination of the this foundational stage curriculum frameworks has been done, and we have been approaching to the states and others for this purpose also, so that they may also know about this, and then they take journey of this education system further, because without the states we can't do anything. So they are the real stakeholders, and the purpose of these sessions is these such type of sessions is also the same, that we need to reach out to everyone, and they need to understand what the national curriculum framework for foundational stages and what the national curriculum framework for school education is. Without understanding that, we cannot develop any learning teaching material which can translate our vision of our NEP 2020 on the ground. And this is the golden opportunity where we have to work very hard and all together. So the NCF for foundational stage is the first ever integrated curriculum framework for children. This is the first thing which we need to understand. It is an integrated framework, and it is for the age, as I spoke earlier, it targets the age group 3 to 8, and it places play at the core of all the learning, conceptual, operational, or transactional approaches. The play is the basic thing which we need to ensure that all type of learning teaching material or activities, whatever learning process is there, that should be playful, and we call it for toy-based pedagogy. So this is very important, and curriculum has been organized like that. The pedagogy is also the same, and the content organization and overall experience of the child must be joyful, must be holistic, must be ensuring the development of his 5 main cores. Those, that is the physical development, social emotional development, this psychomotor development, the ethical development, the cultural development. Such type of developments are important to doused. Without the holistic development, kid cannot be a true learner, joyful learner. So that is the first and foremost aspect of this curriculum framework, which provides joy. And while developing teaching learning material, we have to ensure that such type of pedagogy, such type of learning teaching material have to be developed. Only then we will take the spirit of the NEP 2020 in the real sense. So that is the important task, and for that we have to change our mindset. So far we have been the different mindset based on the rote learning process. That mindset has to be changed, and this is the very important task. The framework provides a sequence of curricular goals. It does not mean that if they are playing, they don't have any learning process. The curricular goals are there. Every teaching learning material, such as we developed the Jadui Pitara, and into that we put 53 items, and the very designing of the Jadui Pitara. So it does not mean that it is just for playing, but understanding the psychology of the kids, target group of that age, how it ensures the competency, how it ensures the learning process, that well researched work material has been developed, and that will ensure the learning process also. So it is very important to make it clear to the parents and to the society and to the community that they should understand this message, that their kids are not wasting their time in the schools, but they are learning through these different items and different types of learning, and that will ensure the experiential learning also, which has been the buzzword of the NEP 2020. Experiential learning is very important. We cannot never forget whatever we learned through our experience. Learning while doing, that is very important. So while they play with the different type of toys or puzzles or flashcards or storybooks, they see the different type of pictures. They try to adjust with the learning teaching material. Then they have the inquisitive nature. They will ask the questions, certainly. Then it is the role of the teachers and it is role of the parents to be with them and to satisfy their questions, their queries. That is the learning teaching pedagogy of this process. So the framework is integrative and holistic, giving equal status to all subjects and learning domains. Now when we move from the Bal Batikas to grade 1 and grade 2, then we have subjects, more subjects than the earlier. So what are the new subjects? Because we are giving importance, equal importance to the art, to the sports, to the physical education, as we give importance to the mathematics. Earlier we used to give importance to mathematics and English only, but now we are giving importance to physical education, well-being and yoga, sports. We are giving importance to the art education, and we are also bringing into a new subject, world around us. Earlier it used to be a different area, but now we are bringing that from class 3 onward. We are bringing that subject also. So these are few features of National Curriculum Framework for foundational stage. Then this framework is also very enjoyable as it has the examples, illustrations. It is just not only content, but it has beautiful pictures and illustrations, and from where we can understand that how this is processing ahead. So this way, this has been developed. National curriculum framework for foundational stage has been developed, and we have taken into ground by developing the learning teaching material starting from the Jadui Pitara and then developing the textbooks for class 1 and 2, grade 1 and 2. Then we talk about the national curriculum framework for school education. The national curriculum framework for school education serves as a broad guidelines for the entire school education. The NCF SC developed a follow-up of, it has been developed as a follow-up of NEP 2020 and was released on 23rd August 23 as I spoke earlier. So what I will be able to pinpointly give you the salient features, few salient features of the national curriculum framework for school education. This framework for school education brings to life the aims and commitment of National Education Policy 2020, and it is based on the vision of the NEP 2020 so that we may be able to implement the policy in letter and spirit. So the NCF SC 2023 addresses the group as 8 to 18 years, from 8 to 18 years when the child moves in grade 3, from grade 3 to grade 12. So this is the target group, and the NCF SC 2023 is informed by and fully responsive to the glorious unity and diversity of the country, as has been the spirit of the NEP 2020, culturally rooted and Bharat-centric education. So knowing the country, knowing the culture, knowing the roots is very important. Without knowing our roots, we cannot have any education system, purposeful education system. So that is also very important to understand while going ahead with the national curriculum framework for school education. I mean to say that when we develop the learning teaching material for grades from 3 to 12th, then this has to be kept into mind. And then when we say this, then we say that all this is integrated. It means if you are teaching Hindi or English or mathematics, it does not mean that you are teaching only Hindi, English or mathematics. That is the basic thing. But through that, through examples, illustrations, different activities, you are going to open the broader horizon of the cultural panorama. अपनी संस्कृति की जो अद्भुत झलक है, विरासत है, उसको आप कैसे उदाहरणों के द्वारा, चित्रों के द्वारा कैसे प्रस्तुत करेंगे. हमारी कुछ किताबें निकली हैं, आप लोगों ने देखी होंगी. आपने देखा होगा कि क्लास 3 की जो किताब हमारी निकली है, जैसे वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस की बात मैं पहले कर रहा था, वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस में देखिए किस प्रकार से हमने एनविजन किया कि फर्स्ट किड हैज़ टू नो अबाउट हर सेल्फ और हिमसेल्फ. हम पूरे दुनिया की बात बच्चे को बताते हैं, उसके वातावरण के बारे में नहीं बताते, उसके समाज के बारे में नहीं बताते, परिवार के बारे में नहीं बताते, एथिक्स के बारे में नहीं बताते, वैल्यूज के बारे में नहीं बताते. इस प्रकार की शिक्षा किस प्रकार के मानव को पैदा करती है, ये हम देख चुके हैं. इसलिए एनईपी का जो एक विजन है कि होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट तभी होगा जब हम पूरे समझ रखें, अपने आसपास अपने परिवेश की समझ रखें, अपने समाज की समझ रखें, अपने नेचर की समझ रखें, अपने प्रकृति की समझ रखें, और फिर उसके आधार पर हम फिर देखें कि किस प्रकार से हम एक स्वस्थ नागरिक का निर्माण कर सकते हैं. तो ये होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट इस तरह से एंश्योर किया गया है. तो हमारी जो पुस्तकें हैं, जैसे मैं बता रहा था कि केवल विषय की बात, विषय तो कोर है, मगर विषय किस भाषा में पढ़ा रहे हैं हम और किस प्रकार से चित्रों के द्वारा दिखा रहे हैं, तो ये आप देख सकते हैं किताबों में. हमारी जो अभी निकल रही हैं किताबें, और एक वाइब्रेंट बुक्स है, वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दी ओल्डर वर्जन्स, एंड द किड्स विल बी इंजॉइंग दोज बुक्स ऑफ कोर्स. इसी तरह से जो टॉय बेस्ड पेडागोजी या प्ले बेस्ड पेडागोजी है, दैट इज आल्सो फॉर द कॉम्पिटेंसी बेस्ड पेडागोजी, कॉम्पिटेंसी फोकस्ड पेडागोजी. इट इज़ गोइंग टू एम्पावर यू. केवल असेसमेंट की बात हो रही थी. क्वेश्चन आंसर असेसमेंट का एक बहुत पुराना तरीका है. आपने प्रश्न पूछ लिया, उसका जवाब सही लिख दिया, तो आप केवल उस प्रश्न के उत्तर को जानते हैं, अपने आप को नहीं जानते हैं, या देश को नहीं जानते हैं, या समाज को नहीं जानते. अभी जो असेसमेंट, होलिस्टिक असेसमेंट की बात हो रही थी, ये इसका बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यू है. हाउ टू असेस द होलिस्टिकली मीन्स आप उसकी लर्निंग प्रोसेस के एवरी वर्च्यू हैज़ टू बी क्रेडिटाइज्ड, एंड फ्रॉम दैट पार्ट देन वी आर डेवलपिंग द होलिस्टिक प्रोग्रेस कार्ड. दैट इज आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ दिस NCF. we have to come out of that. For that we all have to work hard. सबको बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी उसके लिए. अभी छोटे से कुछ प्रश्न पूछ करके इवेल्यूएशन हो जाता था, रिजल्ट बन जाता था। मगर अब 25 पेज का होलिस्टिक कार्ड जब आप देखेंगे तो बच्चे की हर ट्रेड्स को आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि किस बात से क्या सीख रहा है और क्या उसका रिस्पॉन्स हो रहा है, तो उसके लिए हम सबको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी। तो इसलिए इसमें घबराने की बात नहीं है। मेरा 15 मिनट है, ठीक है। तो इसलिए जो है आपको ये देखना पड़ेगा, हम सबको इस मेहनत को तैयार करने के लिए, इस मेहनत के लिए हमें तैयार होना पड़ेगा। तो ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। जो करिकुलर गोल्स की बात है, जो सारे एलिमेंट्स हैं, चाहे ह्यूमन कैपेसिटीज हैं, वैल्यूज हैं, डिस्पोजिशंस हैं, और जो भी इनका उद्देश्य है, ये क्या है, स्कूल एजुकेशन को इस प्रकार से बनाना जो कि हमारे लिए हमारी एनईपी के एम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को फुलफिल करे और एक होलिस्टिक सिटीजन्स का निर्माण कर सके। वोकेशनल एजुकेशन को बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंस दिया गया। पहले वोकेशनल एजुकेशन एक साइड लाइन था, एक्स्ट्रा कुरिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ में था। नाउ इट हैज़ बीन ब्रॉट इनटू फोकस, ए कोर सब्जेक्ट, बिकॉज वी वांट टू हैव स्किलफुल सिटीजन्स फॉर द 21st century. This is very important because without skillful citizens we are not going to have a developed nations. If we want to be knowledge economy, then we have to produce the knowledgeable citizens, knowledgeable and skillful citizens. So for that vocational education has been given a special role here, and it is now a core subject. It is not a side subject. Similarly other subjects also, physical education, health and well-being. कितना बच्चे बीमार हो जाते हैं, डिप्रेशन में चले जाते हैं, प्रॉब्लम में आ जाते हैं, अगर उसके बारे में, उनकी हेल्थ के बारे में और उसके सब्जेक्ट में कुछ आता नहीं है, स्कूल में पढ़ाया नहीं जाता। अब ये विषय भी हमारा बहुत अच्छी तरह से आगे आ रहा है, उससे रूटेडनेस भी आ रही है, योग भी जुड़ रहा है। तो बीमार नहीं पड़ेंगे, स्वस्थ शरीर रहेगा तो स्वस्थ मन आएगा, हेल्दी बॉडी हैज़ हेल्दी माइंड। ये भी बात हम कर रहे हैं इसमें, और इन सारे विषय पे, आर्ट्स पे, सब पे इक्वल एम्फेसिस दिया जा रहा है। तो ये पूरा भारत केंद्रित है, सांस्कृतिक रूप से समावेशित है। 2005 के एनसीएफ में ये सब चीज़ें नहीं थी, वो केवल एक रूट लर्निंग सिस्टम पे आधारित था। वोकेशनल एजुकेशन की बात की गई थी उसमें, पर वो वोकेशनल एजुकेशन साइड में ही था, कोई बहुत अच्छा उसमें इम्प्लीमेंटेशन नहीं हुआ। तो इसलिए आज के सेशन में जो मुख्य विषय आने चाहिए मेरी समझ से, जिन पे हमें डिटेल में डिस्कशन करना चाहिए और डिलीवर करना चाहिए, एक तो हमें इनोवेटिव पेडागोजिकल अप्रोचेज की बात करनी चाहिए, because without innovative pedagogical approaches we cannot change the learning process and we cannot change the mindset of the stakeholders. So that will be important. Then holistic assessment strategies, which I have been speaking about, that should also be the focus of this panel discussion here. And then we should have the inclusive practices to accommodate diverse learning needs and styles, because learning by all, learning for all is very important. So that for that purpose also we need to address this issue here. Then utilizing technology to enhance the teaching and learning experience. Without technology we cannot imagine nowadays. So 21st century skills are important, and for that technology is very important. So ICT will be taken care while discussing on in this panel. And also engaging parents and community. As I spoke earlier, that without parents and community nothing can happen. We are very small chunk, but when we imagine of the kids, we cannot imagine kids without parents and without society and without community. We have to take all on boards and convince them that this how we are going to transform our education system. We have to convince them. Then curriculum adaptation and localization, contextualization is very important. अगर हम भारत की बात करते हैं तो भारत तो हर जगह है, हर जगह की विशेषताएं आनी चाहिए। इसलिए एनसीईआरटी बुक्स बनाता है, मगर ये नहीं कहता है कि आप पूरी तरह से इस किताब को लगाइए, उसमें उसको स्कोप है, एडेप्टेशन का स्कोप है। तो कंटेक्चुअलाइजेशन करना जरूरी है। इसी प्रकार से मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है, जिसपे कि हमने देखा कि कितने भाषाओं का, 22 भाषाओं में अब हमारी पुस्तकें डिजिटल भी तैयार होंगी एनसीईआरटी की। और राज्यों को भी इस प्रकार का कोशिश करना चाहिए कि अपनी राज्य की भाषाओं में भी बच्चों को पढ़ाएं, क्योंकि एक राज्य में भी कई भाषाएं होती हैं। अगर वो हम केवल एक भाषा को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं तो हम औरों को डिप्राइव करते हैं, तो इसलिए मेहनत ज़्यादा करनी पड़ेगी इसमें भी। और इसी प्रकार से हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि जो वोकेशनल एजुकेशन है ये मिडिल स्टेज के बाद एक अलग सा सब्जेक्ट हो रहा है। उससे पहले हम उसको वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस में बहुत ब्रीफ में उसका आइडिया दे रहे थे, मगर 6 ऑनवर्ड्स इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी अ सेपरेट सब्जेक्ट्स. तो इन इश्यूज़ पे हम बात करेंगे इस पैनल में, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि जो भी डिस्कशन होगा, जो भी चर्चा होगी, आप सबके लिए बड़े फ़ायदेमंद होगी, और हम आपसे सुनना भी चाहेंगे क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में. तो इसी के साथ मैं अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूँ. धन्यवाद.
एनईपी 2020 में नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क की भूमिका को रेखांकित करने और सत्र को औपचारिक रूप से आरंभ करने के लिए सर आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और अब मैं आमंत्रित करूंगा जाने माने शिक्षाविद सुबीर शुक्ला जी को. सुबीर शुक्ला जी शिक्षा की गुणवत्ता में सुधार के लिए पिछले 3 दशकों से काम कर रहे हैं. उन्होंने आदिवासी क्षेत्रों में काम करना शुरू किया और बाद में राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर पाठ्यक्रम और पुस्तक विकास में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है. वे राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 को तैयार करने में भी शामिल रहे और कई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगठनों के साथ भी काम किया. उनके द्वारा लिखी गई कई बाल पुस्तकें काफी लोकप्रिय हैं. सुबीर शुक्ला योजना आयोग के कार्य समूहों और एनसीईआरटी तथा नीति आयोग की विशेषज्ञ सलाहकार समितियों के सदस्य के रूप में भी अपनी सेवाएं दी हैं. सुबीर शुक्ला सर हमें बताएंगे एनसीएफएफएस और एनसीएफएससी की कक्षाओं में प्रासंगिकता के बारे में. तालियों के साथ हम सभी स्वागत करते हैं आपका.
सभी को नमस्ते. रिस्पेक्टेड टीचर्स, ऑफिशियल्स, डिग्निटरीज. बच्चों के लिए एनसीएफ वही होगा जो शिक्षक क्लास में करेगा, हमारे दस्तावेज में जो भी लिखा हो. तो इसलिए आई एम गोइंग टू स्पीक अबाउट व्हाट विल एनसीएफ लुक लाइक इन द क्लासरूम, नॉट जस्ट इन द डॉक्यूमेंट. Oh, I'm not sure if you can see this, but nevertheless मैं इसके बारे में बात करता हूँ. So, जो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है वो ये कि सीखने की जो प्रक्रिया है वो किस प्रकार की होगी. अगर ये स्पष्ट नहीं है, और प्रोफेसर साकलानी ने बहुत सही कहा कि NCF 05 की जो सबसे बड़ी एक कमज़ोरी थी वो ये थी कि उन्होंने कंस्ट्रक्टिविज़म की बात की, लेकिन एग्जैक्टली वो है क्या ये स्पष्ट नहीं हुआ. यहाँ पर ये गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए. तो जो उम्मीद है वो ये है कि हमारी क्लासेस में टीचर विल जनरेट एज अप्रोप्रिएट एक्सपीरियंसेस, कॉम्पिटेंसी ओरिएंटेड वंस, चैलेंज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर उसमें चैलेंज नहीं है तो यू डोंट फील लाइक डूइंग एनीथिंग. इट्स टू ईजी और टू डिफिकल्ट, यू डोंट डू इट. सो जस्ट पिचिंग इट एट द राइट लेवल इज इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड मीनिंगफुल, रेलिवेंट, फॉलोड बाई, एंड दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. इट्स अ वेरी ओल्ड सेइंग, आप अनुभव से नहीं सीखते हैं, आप अनुभव पर चिंतन करने से सीखते हैं. And experiences that is not reflected upon does not get converted into learning. So it's important that you create these experiences but also reflect, and then you look at where it will be applied. And this is a very basic fundamental principle of learning and of child development, that when learning is not consolidated from time to time, it remains loose, unclear, and is lost. For those of you who have studied child development, Piaget talks about how it is stored as schemas in our mind. If you do not form that schema, that learning is lost. That's why consolidation from time to time is extremely critical. So in a foundational class, what will happen? For example, teacher will come in, teacher has worked a lot with concrete materials, with toys. Now the teacher says, this is the experience part. ऐसी चीज़ों का नाम बताओ जो आयताकार हैं या गोल हैं और जो आसपास देख सकते हो. For example, you can see right now papers, caps, eyes, specs, mobile phones. So suddenly the class becomes alive and children start identifying क्या क्या दिख रहा है जो इन shapes के साथ है. Then the teacher says, now this is, let's say class 2, इनका नाम लिखने की कोशिश करो. अब मान लीजिए उनको पूरा नहीं भी लिखना आ रहा, लेकिन they have to try, work in pairs and try. But this is not the activity. Now learning happens after this. Now the teacher says, which names were you not able to write? This is a reflection on it. And the teacher might help them to write. But now teacher extends it further. You identified so many things. Can you take any 2 of them and put them in a sentence? आपने कई चीज़ें देखी, जैसे आपने देखा मोबाइल फ़ोन, आयताकार आपको लगा और आपने आँख को कहा कि गोल है, तो मैं अपनी आँख से मोबाइल फ़ोन देख रहा हूँ. बच्चे ने ये सेंटेंस बनाने की कोशिश की. ट्राई दिस आउट विद चिल्ड्रन. एक्चुअली इट्स क्वाइट एन एक्साइटिंग थिंग. एक बार जब शुरू होता है बच्चे इसको करने लगते हैं. एंड देन शी सेज नाउ ट्राई टू राइट दिस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द बॉल इज ऑन द टेबल. एंड देन शी कंसोलिडेट्स बाय सेइंग आज हमने क्या क्या किया, उसमें क्या सीखा, पहले क्या नहीं कर पा रहे थे, अब क्या कर पा रहे हैं. एंड हाउ डू वी राइट अबाउट वॉट वी सी अराउंड अस. This is a very ordinary, simple example of what will happen in a literacy class, where in a meaningful way children start applying their limited ability to write to capture the world that is right around them, start connecting with it. In a slightly higher class, let's say class 4 or 5, the activity is very different. The teacher says the teacher either blindfolds herself or one child is blindfolded, and some 3 or 4 chairs are laid, and she charts out a course. इसके बीच में चलना है. Now this child cannot see. The whole class has to give instruction to this child. दाएं मुड़ो, 3 कदम आगे लो, बाएं जाओ, अब लेफ्ट घुमाओ, रुक जाओ, आगे बढ़ो. Now you might think that what is there to it? There is nothing much in it. Try it out again. I will urge you. You will find that some instructions worked and some didn't work. Then she has a discussion. Now this is where the learning starts. Which of our instructions worked? Which didn't work? What happened when we gave contradictory instructions? Why did it happen? And what do we need to do better? Now children begin to understand how they have to work to make this happen. Then she says, now we'll do it again. And apply that learning right now. And she concludes by asking, what did we learn about how to communicate effectively? I come to middle school, class 7, let us say. Now here the teacher is asking, under which conditions do plants grow best? कैसे पता करेंगे? It's written in the book, but is there a way to find out? Create your own experiment. Now here is a very important thing about experiential learning. Everything is not supposed to happen in one period. It can take a long time. It can be now done over several classes. So she then encourages children to work in groups and find out their own way of identifying what are the different conditions that affect the growth of plants. They set up in the school garden. Then she says which ways of conducting the experiment were more useful. She might instruct them. She might even suggest an improvement. But simply telling the children, देखो यहाँ पर एक पौधा लगाओ, उस पर लाइट दो, फिर लाइट बंद कर दो, देखो, it is only telling them. बच्चे के अंदर सीखने की एक भूख है. वो भूख पूरा करने के लिए उसको खुद खाना है. आप उसकी जगह खा लेंगे तो आपने उसका खाना खा लिया. That is the reason why we have to let children do, make mistakes, learn, find out on their own. Then she says, which helped you construct your experiment? What helped you construct your experiment? For example, did you read? Did you ask? Did you fail? What kind of data did you need to keep to arrive at any inference at all? And what did these experiments tell you? Now that children have understood a little bit about experimentation and finding things out, and this is a way to answer questions, she sets another one. She says, how will you find out about the impact of very specific conditions, like say sunlight or soil quality, on the growth of plants? Do more experiments. And she concludes by saying, what did we learn about factors influencing plant growth? What would you advise farmers or gardeners? Go out and actually talk with them, engage with the community, learn from them. What did we learn about using experiments to find answers to questions? There's not only one thing happening in this. Again, Professor Saklani mentioned about integration and connection. There's a lot of language learning here. There's a lot of working in groups. There's a lot of social, emotional connection and bonding that is happening. There's exploration of your environment. There's understanding your community. You might understand about traditional farming methods. That again is back to local knowledge coming in. So there's a lot that happens in a process like this. With an older class, say in secondary level, and here I am not giving the reflection, application and consolidation part of this, that you can work out on your own. But I would want to see something like this happening, where the teacher says, work in groups and keep minutes of meetings held in your local panchayat. One thing is that panchayats do need somebody to keep minutes for them. If you interact with them, you will find that they are always short of somebody who can keep records, and students can play a meaningful role, connect with the community and contribute to it. But more importantly, they learn a lot just by being there and recording things. Ask the panchayat members if you recorded things correctly. Then attend the next meeting, keep taking minutes, but then see what has happened between the last meeting and this one. Imagine if this is done. Yes, there is language, there is social science, there's also actively understanding or engaging with the community, understanding developmental processes, seeing it firsthand and knowing what works, what doesn't work, what are the pressures and tensions that go on. For a much higher class like class 11, I would say identify something you like doing, see if you can make a business plan out of it, a sustainable business plan. And now we define sustainability in many ways. One that can keep continuing but also is environmentally sustainable. Integrating principles of entrepreneurship, I assume that is something that we are teaching, is part of the vocational aspects. Responsibility and community impact. Again, when they do this, it's not that they just stop here. They try a bit of it, they will fail, it will not work. Then teacher will reflect, what happened, why didn't we work, what do we need to read up, who do we need to talk with, find out more. Go on doing it, and then once you have made it, maybe you try setting up a small business, do a role play, go out in the community, try it out, and then at the end of the year, this is a whole year-long thing, you decide whether it worked or it didn't work, and what you can carry over from here into your life. I hope this is making you feel a little worried. This is quite a far cry from what is currently happening in our schools. And you might even say, what nonsense, it's not supposed to be like this. Okay, if it is not like this, but what else? There will be many things which are approximating the kind of things that I just mentioned. Now, some of these, especially in older classes, will take place over a longer period of time. Students are active. Professor Saklani mentioned student-led as a very important word. That initiative, in many cases, will come from them. Teacher will provide support. In some places, when required, she may, and this is an important part. Suppose I start giving a lecture on my own about business plans. Students may not find it as interesting. But on the other hand, if they're trying to make one and then I provide some input which really matters, they actually want to grasp it. So you have to create those conditions. One of the important things about play-based learning is that it does not happen by telling children go and play. जाके खेलो से play-based learning नहीं होता. How it happens is that you create deliberately a specific environment where children will engage with that environment, for example, you leave toys, books, things to explore, things to make, and you say you choose where you go. But you have, by placing certain things in a careful, intelligent, strategic manner, you have ensured that children will go through certain experiences which will lead them to that kind of development and learning. So that deliberation in creating the environment, it is not only at the foundational stage, it is all the way up. We have to constantly create the conditions where students want to engage, want to learn, want to find out more. And then we provide them the right required input. Suppose there is, think of what is happening with all of us now. There is no question in your mind, but I start giving an answer to that question. It is called spam. How to get better insurance? You never ask for it, no? So what do? You delete. What do children do when they get this kind of thing in class, especially older children? Mentally delete. और जब online होता है तो फिर तो practically switch off. That relevance has to be created, and what I'm sharing with you, that create a challenging, interesting, relevant experience, but then lead on to reflection and application and consolidate, really makes a huge, huge difference. Now, since my time is up, what I'm going to do, I'll just take 1 minute. This presentation is available. You can always look at it. What teacher will do in the foundational stage, derived from NCF, in the primary stage, in the middle stage, secondary stage, you can see. Now, there are 3 big questions which should be in your mind. And I'm hoping that in the discussion time, they will come up. How can we prepare teachers to teach in this way? In a regular school with no problems, can it be done? How will it be done? It's a big... When we talk of training teachers, please note, you're not talking of just providing skills. You're talking of change. शिक्षक वो व्यक्ति नहीं रहेगा जो पहले था. अगर आप अलग से तरह का काम करने जा रहे हैं तो उसको अलग तरह का व्यक्ति ही होना पड़ेगा, अलग तरह से बच्चों के साथ कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा सीखने की प्रक्रिया के साथ. 60 to 70% of our classes, especially in primary and even elementary, are multi-grade in nature. How can it be done there? And multilingual education, ये तो खैर है ही. I had a whole presentation on multilingual. I am not talking about it right now. Later, if there is scope, we will talk about multi-grade education, multilingual education as well. So the point is, we have every right to be ambitious. Land Pritchett famously said that developing countries are too ambitious about their children. My response to that is not Land Pritchett's problem. That is our problem. We have a right to have dreams for our children. We believe that we can do this. I have shared with you something which actually has been done in several thousand schools already in India. It is nothing very new. It's very, very possible. We just have to put our minds to it. From morning till now, I think every speaker and every leader here has said that if we get together, it can be done. And I believe that too. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर अपने विचार हमारे प्रतिभागियों और वक्ताओं के समक्ष रखने के लिए. और अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा प्रोफेसर रंजना अरोड़ा को. प्रोफेसर रंजना अरोड़ा एनसीईआरटी फैकल्टी हैं. प्रोफेसर अरोड़ा ने टीचर्स एजुकेशन और स्कूली शिक्षा में व्यापक अनुभव अर्जित किया है. उनका काम मुख्य रूप से पाठ्यक्रम विकास, शिक्षक प्रशिक्षण और शैक्षिक मूल्यांकन पर केंद्रित रहा है. प्रोफेसर अरोड़ा ने एनसीईआरटी में करिकुलम डिवीज़न के प्रमुख सहित विभिन्न भूमिकाओं में अपनी सेवाएं दी हैं. साथ ही नेशनल करिकुलम को तैयार करने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है. प्रोफेसर रंजना अरोड़ा मैम का मैं स्वागत करूंगा और आप सभी से कहूंगा कि तालियों के साथ मैम का अभिनंदन कीजिए और सुनेंगे हम उन्हें.
Respected Secretary, School Education, Shri Sanjay Kumar ji, Additional Secretary Shri Vipin Kumar ji, Joint Secretaries Prachi ji, Archana ji, my esteemed panelists, and all the esteemed gathering sitting here. So very good afternoon to all of you. Namaskar. So my theme for this presentation is vocational education perspective and implementation, emerging from National Education Policy 2020 and National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2023. So this is a very, very brief presentation, and there the last picture is Kaushal Bodh. This is our class 6th textbook, activity book on vocational education. So I'm not going to deliberate upon this slide because this has already been said. Only you can see that the second point, when we see emphasis on holistic education for all, including integration of vocational education, art education, physical education in all the stages of school education. So just I want to focus on that policy as well as National Curriculum Framework are giving utmost importance and emphasis to vocational education. This is very important diagram which we have in National Curriculum Framework for School Education, and one can see that how this National Curriculum Framework for School Education is focusing on learning standards, and it is very nicely elaborating upon that how learning standards are coming out from the vision of the society. So vision of the society, vision and purpose of education, and then aims of education, and then knowledge, capacities, values and disposition, and then curricular areas. So whatever curricular areas we are going to take, those curricular areas are helping developing competencies and achieving curricular goals and vis-a-vis curricular aims. So this is very important, and this is available on the website, and you can go through this. And then this is also very important for each and every teacher, whether it is vocational education, art education teacher, science or social science, because now this is competency based education era, and we have to focus on competencies, because then only we can move away from the rote memorization as a as Director NCRT has already spoken. So, you see, curricular aims, curricular goals, competencies and learning outcomes very meticulously up to competencies. This curricular framework is mapping all the competencies with the curricular goals across the stages and of course subject areas. So that these are very important because it is not only science, mathematics or social science, but it is for art education, for physical education, and of course for vocational education. So now things are very much organized and we need to see how can we implement. So with regard to vocational education, if we see, so foundational stage and preparatory stage vocational, pre-vocational skill. If you see or read our document, National Curriculum Framework, in every page you will find the word skill. So skilling has been given utmost importance. So pre-vocational exposure is integrated at the foundational stage as well as preparatory stage. If you'll see our foundational stage book, The World Around Us, you will find exposure to different work which children see around them. And of course, pottery, we have focused on pottery on that. So these kinds of things we need to see that how we have integrated vocational education from preparatory stage itself in the textbook. So that is very important. And middle stage, one can see that vocational education, again it has come. At the middle stage, we have 9 subject areas and vocational education is one of them. And at the secondary stage, middle stage pattern will continue. Again, 9 subject areas of the middle stage, one more subject area that will come in individual in society, or we can say ethics in education. So that will be an additional subject area. And then if you see secondary stage, next. If you see now, this is very important for all of you. I know this is secondary stage phase 2, 11th and 12th. So now here we have groups. So group 1 is language group, where we have to select 2 subjects, 2 languages, and then we have 3 more groups, and it is written that students choose 4 subjects with an optional 5th subject from at least 2 of the following 3 groups. And one can see group 2, art education, physical education and vocational education. Again, there is substantial emphasis on vocational education. Social science, humanities, group 3, social science, humanities, interdisciplinary areas. Interdisciplinary areas include commerce. And then group 4, science, mathematics and computational thinking. So it satisfies children choices, whatever they want to take up, whether it is for going to medical profession or engineering or otherwise other higher education courses. So this is also the school stages, logic and design. One can see under vocational education, lots of subject areas, lots of skill courses are given specifically. So now we are going to see time allocation, because there may be these kinds of questions that what is the time allocation, how many hours we have given to vocational education. So even at the middle stage, we have given 110 hours annually that teachers have to, or schools have to implement vocational education in this way. So, and moreover, vocational education in substantial amount has also been integrated across mathematics, science, social science. This is secondary stage, that also 110 annual hours. So now we have to see that what is the perspective of vocational education at the secondary stage. What we want to see, what is National Curriculum Framework is saying. So one can see that students will be given exposure to 6 vocations. This is the perspective. We have yet not come out with this scheme that what it will, what shape it will take. But this is the suggestions, this is the recommendation of the policy that children can choose. Then focus will be on developing appropriate skills and hands-on experiences. 6 vocation which child will choose or student will choose at the secondary stage phase 1, that will be the premise for choosing one skill education course at the secondary stage phase 2. So that is the perspective. So, and curriculum framework is very, very particular about this, that of course children will be given on-site exposure, and it also, curriculum framework also is aware of the current situation, and it is clearly mentions that it is not likely that all schools will have a trained teacher for vocational courses. Hence, though these vocational courses can also be taught by locally trained and experienced resource trainers. So these kinds of things always come in our mind, that what will happen, from where teachers will come. So there are pragmatic solution for that. So 11th and 12th, choice-based courses will be available, and children have to study those courses in depth. So that is and those courses will be aligned with the National Skill Qualification Framework. Approach and objectives to vocational education. This is this we need to see that what are the objectives of vocational education, why it is being focused. So one can see now a broad and experiential introduction to different kinds of work to develop deep and defined set of practical competence. Work is an integral part of our life. So whether it is ancient time or this time, so lots of work were available that time also, and we need to draw vocations from them. Not only aspirational vocations, but we have to also implement locally and contextualized vocations. So these kinds of objectives this policy is given, like you can see this 5th objective, to learn range of aspirational and local relevant and contextual vocations. And of course then this policy is also, this curriculum framework is also saying that children need to learn to value all types of work based on inherent dignity of all works. So that is very important objective of this vocational education, which we are going to implement. These are 3 work forms this National Curriculum Framework for School Education is recommending, because now it will really smoothen the process of implementing vocational education, when there are 3 work forms, and from every work form children has to be given, or students have to be given exposure. So we need to see that children need to work with life forms, children need to work with materials and machine, and children need to work in human services. So all the 3 work forms we need to give exposure to children in all these forms, and that exactly we have done in our vocational education activity book for grade 6. So this is just a definition, what is this work form. That presentation will be with you. So, and of course with the terminology itself, this is self-explanatory terminology: work with life forms, work with machines and materials. I'm just winding it up. Work in human services. So this curriculum framework also distinguishes vocational education and skill training, because it is very, very clear that vocational education is broader and it develops capacities, whereas skill training develop specific skills. Of course, capacities always include lots of skills, so that we need to understand, and we need to see that. This is Kaushal Bodh, and one can see part 1, part 2, part 3. This book is in 3 parts. Part 1, work in life forms, and 2 projects we are giving: school kitchen garden, biodiversity register, then work with machine and material. We are giving maker skills and animation and games. So even AI integration is also there, artificial intelligence. And then work in human services project is on school museum, and then cooking without fire. So these are the projects. So out
Please,
of these 6 projects,
Ranjana
children
ji,
have to choose
time
only
is over,
3.
time is over.
Only. So way forward, just we have to strengthen our linkage. NCRT has to strengthen its linkages with all the concerned organization, whether it is NIUS, NCVET, and CBSC, because implementing vocational education needs consensus and strengthening or linkages with all these organizations. Till middle stage, we have clear modalities, so we are implementing it. For the secondary stage, we are still in discussion mode that what model of vocational education we are going to implement, and very soon we will be reaching to consensus, and we will be coming out with vocational education book for class 9th as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ranjana, for giving detailed view on importance of vocational education and role of NCF for the same. और अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा डॉक्टर ज्योति गुप्ता को, जो राष्ट्रीय पुरस्कार विजेता और श्री राम यूनिवर्सल स्कूल गाजियाबाद की संस्थापक निदेशक रही हैं तथा वर्तमान में के.आर. मंगलम वर्ल्ड स्कूल जी के पार्ट 2 में निदेशक हैं। एक प्रतिष्ठित शिक्षाविद डॉक्टर ज्योति गुप्ता ने अपने अनुकरणीय कार्यों से शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक प्रमुख स्थान हासिल किया है। डॉक्टर ज्योति गुप्ता का तालियों के साथ स्वागत कीजिए।
Namaste, good afternoon. I'm thankful to Secretary Sir for giving me this opportunity for being here. It's actually an honor to be here. Honorable Secretary Sir, Vipin Sir, Prachi Ma'am, Avasthi Ma'am, Director Sir. Much has been said about the NCFSC, and at schools we've been working for almost a year now, where we've sat down with our teachers and we have read the NCFSC threadbare, every page. We have revamped our lesson plans. We have revamped the way we are teaching our pedagogies, our assessment patterns, the way we are going to report the assessments that we are doing in the classrooms. So the policy has been there, the document NCF has been there, in NCFSC, which also includes the foundational stage. And we've been having a lot of advocacy programs from CBSC, from the NCRT, and a lot of capacity building programs for the principals have been happening since past 1 year, almost 1 year. And we've started the session with a lot of, I would say, enthusiasm. And I'm particularly excited to be a principal at this point of time when there is so much of a change. So we have come a long way from saying that पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे तो होगे खराब. From there to now, where it is studying and learning through sports, studying and learning through arts, sports and art, performing arts, visual arts has become the central function in the schools. And there is a lot of learning of the various subjects through projects and through the performing arts, through the visual arts and through the sports. So we are really excited about it, how we are implementing it in the school, because a lot has been said about the policy. Though my presentation also included, I was supposed to focus on the part C, which talks about various subjects, including the foundational stage, as to how do we have to actually implement. And that is the question for the principals today. How do we take it to the classroom? How do we implement what is there in the policy? How does it become a part of our lesson plans? And how does the child who is there in the class gets the benefit of this document that is there? So that's what I'm going to showcase here. I'm going to skip a couple of slides because that's going to be a repetition of what has already been said. So various domains that have been mentioned in the NCFSC, that is the physical development, socio-emotional, ethical development, cognitive development, aesthetic and cultural development, and the language and literacy development of the children. How do we actually talk, how do we map it up with the competencies that have been, the curricular goals that have been given, which are further divided into the competencies. And then we have to actually also measure these, because we are talking about competency based learning, we are talking about the outcome based learning, and whenever the question is of the outcome, then it has to be measured, and once it is measured, it has to be reported onto the report cards also, or the progress cards, I mean, not to say report cards, but the progress cards of the children. So these are the various curricular goals, and already a lot has been said about that. So how do we do it in our school? We do it with the help of the conversations and storytelling, object-based learning and the toy-based learning. So we have developed the pedagogies where the children are using the top lattu to learn the principles of physics, and to learn the principles of mathematics, kite flying, which is actually used to again learn a lot of concepts of physics, songs and rhymes for the children, music and movement, art and craft, spending time in the nature and the field trips, indoor games and outdoor games. So we can see that there is experiential learning, there is holistic development of the children, it is integrated learning where a lot of projects are there and children are learning various subjects through these. It is inquiry driven, we are not forcing the concepts on the children, but children are actually coming with the background knowledge and they are building on that knowledge. It is discovery oriented, it is learner centered. Each and every child is important for us. It is discussion based, so that includes the communication and collaboration as the skill. Then toy based or object based, and everything that we are doing is joyful. So every day when they come to the class, there is an aha moment because they are learning something new and they are creating new knowledge. So there are various strategies that have been mentioned in the NCF where they say that how the oral language has to develop, how the word recognition, reading, and then finally writing has to be inculcated into these children. And similarly for numeracy, how the oral math talk, skills teaching, skills practice, and math game have to become a part of the entire curriculum. So these are the various activities that we do. You can see there's a lot of collaboration in the class also. It is no more a Sui Patak Sannada classroom where the teacher does not like the children talking to each other. It is in fact a classroom that is full of discussions. And similarly, there's a lot of focus which is there on the numeracy, a lot of activities that are done in order to ensure that the children are actually not rote learning, but they are learning through their own five senses. And of course, as it was said, they are reflecting on it, and then there is the conceptualization that is done by the teachers. So sir was talking about the EVS, a lot of importance we give to the EVS that becomes transdisciplinary for us. So the entire primary school does the transdisciplinary curriculum where all the subjects, there are no silos there are no subject boundaries there. So through the projects, children are learning the numeracy, literacy, they are learning the environment, and the topics of the EVS actually become the transdisciplinary, and through that the other subjects are done. So again, some of the activities that we do, a lot of life skills are given to the children. You can see a lot of the focus is on the growth of the children, the physical domain, the social domain, the psychomotor skills, fine motor skills are there.
Please conclude.
And similarly, creating a positive classroom environment. Teachers ensure that the children are comfortable in the class, and the relationship between the teachers and the children is very comfortable and it is non-threatening. Ranjana ma'am spoke about a lot of subjects and the scheme that is there for the classes 11th and 12th. So we give 34 subjects at the level of 11th and 12th, both at the academic level as well as the vocational level. There are no silos there. The children are free to choose English and any other 4 or 5 subjects. I would like to bring to the notice here that the problem is not of the schools not giving the subject combinations. The problem here is that the higher education does not accept the combinations that the children take. Our children are ready to take physics and history and fine art and physical education, and they do that also, and they end up going to the foreign universities. But if they have to go to the Delhi University and they have to do the physics honors, then they have to do physics, chemistry and maths. So the silos come from there, business studies and accounts and economics for doing the BCom honors. So once there is an integration with the higher education and they are also able to give the flexibility to the children to give the JEE exam with 1 science and 1 math, like the engineering all over the world at the undergraduate level happens with 1 science and 1 math. I think that kind of flexibility, when it comes, then the children are going to be more enthusiastic about taking these combinations. And this Ranjana ma'am has already spoken about. So again, when we come to the pedagogies of these, both the middle stage and the secondary stage also, there also we use the flipped classrooms, joyful learning, integrated transdisciplinary learning, again toy-based, inquiry-based. So I was talking about the having the entrepreneurship there. So cross-cutting subjects are there that help the children learn not just about their own subject but about the other subjects as well. But again, the integration is very, very important there. And assessment is also holistic. We have 360-degree assessment for the children. The progress cards that we had developed are 42 pages in fact instead of 25 pages, and we assess. We have the peer group assessing, we have the parents assessing, we have the teachers assessing the child, and the self-assessment of the children is also there. And for us, the assessment has to be reported in a very positive manner. It is for the development of the children, not judging the children. And we have a lot of professional development programs. For us, 100 hours of training for every teacher is important. We set aside 10 days, 5 days in the summer break when the children go for their vacations. Teachers are there for 5 days, 10 hours each. Similarly, then 3 days we take out in the winter vacation and 2 days in March after the session is over. But we ensure that every teacher of ours is trained for those many hours. And this is the example of the lesson plans that we have created after the NCFSE has come in, and we have mapped all the learning outcomes, we have mapped all the competencies, and the pedagogies are defined in it, the strategies are defined in it, and the teachers are also observed on the on whether there are any deviations when they go to their classroom, and then they are given the feedback. There is a proper process of discussion with the teachers as well. Yeah, so this is where I'm going to end. So this is going to be available. So everybody who needs to see an exemplar, there's also one lesson plan for class 1. So this is how we have implemented. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti Gupta, for sharing with us your innovative experiences. और नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क हो या नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, सभी के क्रियान्वयन में एनसीईआरटी और एससीईआरटीज़ की भूमिका अमूल्य है। आज हमारे बीच हैं हरियाणा एससीईआरटी के डायरेक्टर सुनील बजाज। सुनील बजाज का एक शिक्षक विशेष रूप से गणितज्ञ के रूप में एक लंबा अनुभव रहा है और ये शिक्षण में काफ़ी इनोवेटिव हैं। गणित शिक्षा में सुधार के लिए प्रयोग अनूठे करते हैं। उन्होंने एनसीईआरटी, नीपा, इग्नू जैसे प्रतिष्ठित संस्थानों के साथ काम करके इस क्षेत्र में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। तालियों के साथ सुनील बजाज जी का स्वागत करते हैं।
मंच के समक्ष और मंच पर उपस्थित सभी विद्वतजनों को मेरा प्रणाम। आज सबसे पहले तो मैं मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन को धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं कि उन्हें मुझे एक अवसर दिया एससीईआरटी द्वारा डाइट द्वारा किए जाने वाले कार्यों को बताने के लिए। बहुत सारे इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हरियाणा में किए जा रहे हैं, उनमें से कुछ मैं आज आपके समक्ष रखूंगा। ऐसा उम्मीद करता हूं कि एक कम से कम आपको उदाहरण जरूर पसंद आएगा जो आप अपने साथ लेके जाएंगे। SCRT being the state academic authority declared and also advises to state for school education, conduct qualitative improvement in school education, evolve and initiate school improvement programs and oversee functioning of diets. This is what emphasizes. Now, the first part which Haryana has started is we have now stopped diploma in elementary education in diets, and now we are going with 4-year integrated course recently in 2 diets, that is known as Siaste, and also some of the university also started 4-year integrated course, that is ITEP course also. Then research, whatever is new interventions made by the department. For example, the state implemented, started introducing toy-based pedagogy. We conducted one study on toy-based pedagogy, how it is implemented by the teachers. Many studies we are conducting with the help of NCERT also. So SCRT in collaboration with NCERT is doing many research studies, and that is happening with the district at level by the diets. We have one research associate in every diet which helps in conducting all the data and providing, keeping this research. Now, this is another initiative what NEP is talking about. This is a new initiative. The school education has no linkage with the higher education. The SCRT conducted first meeting with Higher Education Council and started talking about various areas, for example, collaborative research, how diet faculty and SCRT faculty can work with university, and how university can conduct various researches on school education. Nowadays, universities are working for only 6th onward, means secondary, for B.Ed program only. But there is no researches or no work is going on for foundational stage or for preparatory stage. So now we are collaborating, we are started talking on this area, and as soon as the first meeting we have conducted, and now we are collaborating with universities, and we have given a letter to all VCs to collaborate with diets to conduct certain activities for that is primary stage, that is foundational stage and preparatory stage. Now, teacher professional development. In this, we are working with 3 different schemes. One is for teacher, but NEP is talking about 50 hours for continuous professional development. Haryana, we have now recently collaborated with Tata Institute of Social Science, and our 8,407 teachers will do online course which is run by TIS, and these are 8,407 teachers will be doing that course. The first phase we done as a pilot with the 480 around 572 master trainers, or we can say mentors. They will become mentors and will handhold the remaining teachers. So this is one initiative we have done, which is Haryana has done to linkage with universities or institutions of high repute. Now this association with TIS is for 3 years, and they will not only, the teacher will not only do the course, but the impact of that course will also be studied. and there will be a linkage between TIS and the SCRT Haryana, that the interns or some of the research scholars will visit SCRT for 1 month, and they will also conduct field survey, the impact study of the course which the teachers have done and what the changes they have made. As per NEP, now in teacher training modules, we are now adding the more new topics, which is art integrated learning, sports integrated learning. We are introducing Indian knowledge system. We are also introducing interactive e-content. Now this is an area where all the teachers, now we have made various around 240 resource person who are now in further in diets. They are conducting training for teachers to make their own interactive videos. The modules we are, as I mentioned, that we are introducing now sport and all these life skills, e-content and other areas. This is another initiative, cluster level meeting. This year we have approved a program in which every teacher will meet once in a month in a group of 15 to 20 teachers. If primary teachers, they will meet at cluster. If the number is more than at the block level or at the district level, depending upon the number of the teacher, where they are going to share their good practices, and also they are going to share what they have done in the last month, any issues what they faced or any good practice they have done, and also what in the next coming month the syllabus they are going to discuss will be discussed. So this is the new feature we added to all school teachers.
Please try
They
to
will
sum
meet
up.
in one.
Please try to sum up. Try to sum up, please.
The textbook. Now we have contextualized the textbook. The NCRT has released 2 textbooks, and we have 1 and 2 class. We have introduced new textbook, and I am giving you how 4-block approach, which is mentioned in NCRT, we are following. The local language, health and wellness. Also we are introducing yoga or the physical activities as an integrated part of the activities. For example, I am giving you one example, that students of class 1, there will be one activity for deep breathing, that paper slip will be on the table and they will deep breathe in and out and throw the paper away. How much far it has gone in 3 times. So this is one of the activities. These are many activities including yoga. There is a project work also, there is a QR code also, stories, poems. Thought-provoking puzzles and patterns will be introduced, and illustrations are also used. So this is one of the illustration we have used, the shadow of this monkey. There are 4 options the child has to see. Think. This is a dream of the Raju, where you can see elephant on the tree, and lion is outside, but and the fishes are flying. So, and the birds are swimming. So this is the intervention, but this is a dream of one boy, and then the child with curiosity will talk about these things. And now this is another intervention. On this page, how teacher will talk. This is a lesson play, not lesson plan. We are writing the script where how teacher will discuss and how students will respond. And this is going on because the book and the lesson play is being written by the primary teachers. They are actually trying, talking to the students and then talking on the page and then writing the script. And all the skills, whatever is happening, same is written, whether it is communication, whether it is a expression power, and also the 4-block approach. It is a discussion. One of the important feature of this 4-block approach is discussion. So how discussion will happen, that is also given an example. Then another initiative, which there are many initiatives, as the time is less, so I am skipping many initiatives. Prashikshak portal, it is initiative which is a dashboard for all diets to report on that. Whatever activity individual is doing has been mentioned in the Prashikshak portal. The last, I have just giving you one example, but the state has done. promoting a mathematical curiosity through puzzles. We have made it compulsory that every school will have a puzzle corner and they will display one puzzle, and these puzzles are now as a part of their classroom as well as assessment part. So it is also in the annual exam also one puzzle will be asked. This is made compulsory from 6th to 12th, even from primary also. And the puzzle which is one innovative puzzle that is in mathematics we have introduced. This puzzle can be used for all students of classes nursery to 12th, and all the topics can be dealt. It is for assessment as learning, because the topic will be dealt, and after that how that same topic, the same operations will be used. I presented the same puzzle in Finland also and presented on this in Sydney last week also. But the same puzzle was introduced in Haryana in every school. Every teacher, now we have a competition, all teachers are making puzzles. So this is a very important puzzle which you can use. So thank you. There are many other initiatives, but the time is less, so thank you. Thank you.
थैंक यू सुनील बजाज सर। सत्र के अंत में मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा सुश्री चारुमेनी को। सुश्री चारुमेनी एक विजनरी एजुकेशनिस्ट हैं। 3 दशकों से अधिक के अनुभव के साथ उन्होंने एक ऐसे वातावरण को निर्मित करने के लिए काम किया जो बौद्धिक के साथ साथ छात्रों को चारित्रिक विकास में भी मदद करता है और पोषित करता है। चारुमेनी का स्वागत करें तालियों के साथ।
Namaskar to all, Secretary School Education, Shri Sanjay Kumar ji, Prachi ma'am, Professor Saklani, and everyone, all the teachers, panelists who are there. Without much ado, I would start with my presentation. Quickly, the aim of the school education is that we should bring out good human resource. Now, अगर good human resource हमें चाहिए तो हम क्या करें? बहुत सबने अच्छे से अपनी प्लानिंग और अपनी बातें बताई, तो आई विल नॉट गो इनटू मच डिटेल्स. हम ग्राउंड लेवल पे क्या कर सकते हैं और क्या कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे. They say it is a VUCA world, volatile, unpredictable, complex and ambiguous. If it is a VUCA world, then we have to make our children versatile, we have to upskilling them, we have to give them the 4 C's, that is communication, critical thinking, collaboration, creativity. And when it is ambiguous, we have to make them adaptable and resilient, because these are the life skills that we are looking at. When I talk to my teachers, I say, आप chemistry या physics या maths नहीं पढ़ा रहे हैं, because वो हो सकता है chemist और physicist ना बने, लेकिन life skill हर बच्चे को चाहिए. तो 21st century skills हर चाहिए और उसके लिए हमें काम करना है. और अगर ये करना है तो then this calls for the पंचकोशीय विकास of the child. And when we talk of this पंचकोशीय, the अन्नमय कोश and प्राणमय कोश, the domains, physical development, मनोमय कोश, that is the emotional, socio-emotional development, विज्ञानमय कोश, the cognitive development, language and literacy, again the Vigyanmay Kosh, and Anandamay Kosh, the aesthetic and cultural development. If these are the domains that we have to follow, then I have to, as a principal, as the head of the school, I have to see that each and every teacher starting from nursery till 12th is taking care of all these domains, the 5 domains which are necessary for a child to be successful in life. And for this, the domains transact into the curricular goals. People have talked about these, and the curricular goals then get into the competencies. From competencies, we get the learning outcomes, and from there, the content, and here comes the pedagogy. When I talk of pedagogy, that means how to take curriculum to classroom. So when I'm talking of as principal of the school, मेरा मेन मकसद है कि जो NCF में लिखा गया, जो NEP हमसे चाह रहा है, उसको मैं क्लासरूम में करिकुलम तक कैसे लेके जाऊं, उस पे बात करते हैं. एंड व्हेन आई टॉक ऑफ पेडागोजी टू बी अडॉप्टेड, सो 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स हमें आने चाहिए. सिंपल सी बात अगर हम ग्राउंड पे रखें कि हमें बच्चों को कम्युनिकेटर बनाना है, क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग होनी चाहिए, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग होनी चाहिए, एंड कोलैबोरेशन, टीम वर्क बच्चों को आना चाहिए, और साथ में कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग, नेशन, लव फॉर नेशन, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो फॉर दिस, एज यू कैन सी, जस्ट वन लेसन प्लान आई हैव placed over there. This is just a sample one. Every lesson plan of my school has all these skills that are taken care of when the teacher talks about, because हर टीचर के मन में ये बात डाल दी गई है कि आपको आखिर में ये सोचना है कि बच्चे के आज मैंने बच्चे के लाइफ स्किल्स को बढ़ाने के लिए कुछ किया कि नहीं, क्या आज जब मेरा बच्चा अच्छा कम्युनिकेटर बना, कुछ कोलैबोरेशन के लिए मैंने कुछ किया कि नहीं, इस बारे में हम बात करते हैं। कुछ चेतना शिविर और इस तरह की चीज़ें भी हम स्कूल में लगाते हैं जिससे कि कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग और नेशन बिल्डिंग पे काम चले। Next is when we say that pedagogy is competency based, transdisciplinary and inclusive, everyone is talking about is एक चीज़ जो है यहाँ पर pedagogy जो हम चूज़ करें वो ट्रांसवर्सल हो। वी ऑल नो, मैथ्स सब ने पढ़ा है, ट्रांसवर्सल क्या है? ट्रांसवर्सल एक लाइन है जो दो पैरेलल्स को जोड़ती है। यहाँ एक पैरेलल हमारा है कंटेंट, दूसरा पैरेलल एक लाइन है कंटेंट और दूसरी लाइन हमारी आ रही है स्किल या फिर सॉफ्ट स्किल्स या फिर लाइफ स्किल्स जो कि बच्चों को बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो मेरा जो पेडागॉजी मैंने चूज़ करी है, इट शुड कट अक्रॉस द both the things so that when the teacher is delivering content but at the back of the mind उसको ये पता रहना चाहिए कि क्या मैंने आज बच्चों के साथ कुछ कोलैबोरेटिव एक्सरसाइज करी, क्या मैंने आज बच्चों को कुछ कम्युनिकेशन से रिलेटेड किया। तो इसके लिए हम कुछ एनवायरमेंटल सस्टेनेबिलिटी प्रोजेक्ट्स करते हैं और ये सब करते करते कुछ हमें अवार्ड्स भी मिल गए, जैसे कि यहाँ लगाया है गिनीज़ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड में हमने अपना करा। कुछ बच्चों ने वेस्ट पेपर और वो सब कलेक्ट किया था। वी वर जस्ट कलेक्टिवली डूइंग दैट। स्टोरी टेलिंग इज़ फ्रॉम नर्सरी टिल हायर क्लासेस बिकॉज इट ब्रिंग्स communication, health, hygiene and nutrition, very important these part, and for this how we deal with the good touch, bad touch and different health and hygiene issues that are taken care of. Collaborative projects are given to the students, literature and ethics. While teaching the literature, the various ethics are discussed. I am going a little fast. Experiential learning, we all know that we learn the best from experiences. जो अब हम गिर के उठना सीखते हैं तभी हम, और अभी सर ने बताया था सबसे शुरू में सुबीर सर ने, कि जब हम उन पर चिंतन करते हैं, खाली गिर के उठे और उसका चिंतन किया कि हम गिरे क्यों, तभी हमारा एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग पूरा होता है। तो इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ हम स्कूल में करें। तो मेरा मकसद एज प्रिंसिपल क्या होता है कि मैं ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ अपने टीचर्स के लिए और बच्चों के लिए क्रिएट करूं जहां पर, और इस तरह का एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करूं कि वो बच्चे इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ में पार्टिसिपेट करें, खुद गिर के उठें, गिर के सीखें और आगे बढ़ें। तो एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग है, डिज़ाइन थिंकिंग क्लासेस हैं, मॉन्यूमेंट से हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं। मॉन्यूमेंट से हमारा इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम भी साथ में होता है, हमारे नेशन बिल्डिंग भी साथ में उसके साथ में लगती है, इसके बहुत सारे हमारे इम्पैक्ट्स आते हैं। और एक मॉन्यूमेंट को पढ़ते समय हम मॉन्यूमेंट के रख रखाव की बात कर सकते हैं और साथ में बाकी फिज़िक्स, केमिस्ट्री, बायोलॉजी, मैथ्स ये सब भी पढ़ सकते हैं। और हमने इसके ऊपर पूरा एक्शन रिसर्च किया है बहुत ही बढ़िया ढंग से, जो कि हुआ। सुबीर सर, आप थोड़ी देर पहले कह रहे थे कि हमें कुछ एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए अगर हम करें तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। एंड सर, मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि एट माई स्कूल वी आर डूइंग वंडरफुल प्रोजेक्ट्स विद एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, वेयर वी कॉल देम एज रेजेस, धरा से गगन को, जहाँ बच्चे खुद पूरा प्लान करते हैं अपना प्रोजेक्ट, खुद ही रॉ मटेरियल। मैंने शुरू में 20,000 रुपये 4 साल पहले दिए थे और उस 20,000 से उन्होंने मल्टीप्लाई करते करते बहुत मुझे रिटर्न कर दिया वो 20,000 और आगे बढ़ता गया। साल दर साल नए बच्चे आते हैं।
1 मिनट बाकी है मैडम। है
ओके सर, फटाफट। कभी भी हम पेडागॉजी लेंगे तो पेडागॉजी के साथ में असेसमेंट बहुत ही साथ में चलती है। और जब हम असेसमेंट में एक चीज़ मैं यहाँ पर नोट करवाना चाहूँगी, हमने जो डाला है डायग्नोस्टिक स्लिप, हम डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं, डायग्नोसिस कराते हैं, तो यहाँ पर एक बच्चा खुद सेल्फ असेसमेंट 360 डिग्री की हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो उसको हम कैसे करें। मैं खाली इतना कर रही हूँ कि धरती पे हम कैसे उतार रहे हैं एनसीएफ को और एनईपी में लिखी हुई चीज़ों को, 360 डिग्री असेसमेंट कैसे किया जाए। तो बच्चा खुद अपना असेसमेंट कर रहा है, जैसे डायग्नोस्टिक स्लिप बनाई टीचर ने, और ये काम हो रहा है सर स्कूल में। और यहाँ पर डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ असेसमेंट स्ट्रैटेजीज आर देयर, मल्टीपल असेसमेंट मेथड्स, इंडिविजुअल लर्निंग एंड लर्निंग स्टेशंस आर देयर। ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट आर्ट इंटीग्रेशन का मैं आपको दिखाना चाहूँगी क्विकली कि यहाँ पर बच्चे फर्ड पेंटिंग, फर्ड एक राजस्थानी फोक आर्ट है, मैम बैठे हुए हैं यहाँ पर डायरेक्टर एससीईआरटी। तो फर्ड पेंटिंग से हमने पूरा चैप्टर्स जो हैं बिजनेस स्टडीज़ और उसके किस तरह से हम फर्ड को यूज़ कर सकते हैं। आप देख रहे हैं कुछ लड़कियाँ डांस कर रही हैं थ्रू परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स, हाउ मैथ्स कैन बी टॉट। सो ये खाली एक दिन का काम नहीं है, हम इसमें ये चलता रहता है। और कुछ ऐसे हम इंटर स्कूल कॉम्पिटिशन्स भी करते हैं ताकि बच्चों के अंदर ये वाले बातें भी आएँ। और एक जो चीज़ यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं, ये निपुण भारत G20 का वो था, निपुण यानी कि जो हमारा फाउंडेशन स्टेज के TLMs और उसके साथ में हमने किया, दैट इज़ मैथमेटिक्स एंड
थैंक यू मैम,
लैंग्वेज।
थैंक यू,
यस,
धन्यवाद,
TLMs
धन्यवाद।
हम बनाते हैं इनोवेटिव प्रैक्टिस में। विद्या सृजन, सर फटाफट मैं आपको बताती हूँ, ये ले जाने वाली चीज़ है। हमारे स्कूल में हमने विद्या सृजन शुरू किया है, जहाँ पर कि बच्चे, बड़े बच्चे जो हैं टॉयज़ बना रहे हैं। आप टॉय पेडागोजी की बात कर रहे थे, बड़े बच्चे टॉयज़ बना रहे हैं छोटे बच्चों के लिए, और वो टॉयज़ बेचे भी जा रहे हैं। तो इसमें हम, और ये बहुत एक अच्छा, इसमें क्रिएटिविटी आ गई, इसमें कोलैबोरेशन आ गया, और इसके अंदर आपका जब बच्चों ने सारी चीज़ें, आपने सोच लीजिए क्या क्या किया एजुकेशनल। ओके, थैंक यू सो मच। हाँ, लास्ट में तो हूँ, लेकिन आई थिंक कुछ ना कुछ आपको यहाँ से ले जाने को मिला होगा। थैंक यू। और इस दौरान ये सब करते हुए हमारी मेरे स्कूल की टीम भारत बनी। आप देख रहे हैं वाइस प्रेसिडेंट सर के साथ में मेरे स्कूल के 2 बच्चे खड़े हैं। तो ये G20 थिंक यू क्विज़ हुआ था, तो मेरे स्कूल के बच्चे यहाँ पर थे, और यहाँ प्रधानमंत्री जी परीक्षा पे चर्चा पे हमारे स्कूल के बच्चों के साथ खड़े हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू चारू मेनी मैम। अभी तक आप सभी ने मंच पर उपस्थित वक्ताओं को सुना, और अब आपकी बारी है। आप अपने प्रश्न, सुझाव और विचार यहाँ रख सकते हैं, आप आमंत्रित हैं। लेकिन आप सभी से आग्रह है कि प्रश्न छोटे रखें और 2-3 प्रश्न ही लेंगे, क्योंकि समय
2 या 3 प्रश्न से ज़्यादा नहीं होगा
जी।
आप जाइए, मैं अपने आप बात करूँ।
ठीक,
ज़्यादा समय ख़राब होता है तो, क्योंकि समय बहुत हो चुका है। हम ये चाहते हैं कि NCF FS और NCF SC इससे रिलेटेड कुछ आपकी क्वेरीज हों। इफ़ यू हैव एनी क्वेरी और आपका कुछ उसमें जानना चाहते हैं तो उस पर बात करेंगे तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा, बिकॉज वी वांट दैट दिस शुड बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड इन टोटो। तो उसके रिलेटेड कुछ बात करनी है तो आप लोगों का स्वागत है। 2-3 प्रश्न, एकदम लेक्चर नहीं, प्रश्न पूछेगा, अपनी बात बताइएगा, प्रश्न पूछेगा तो अच्छा रहेगा। 2-3 क्वेश्चन हो जाएंगे, कुछ जवाब मिल सकता है। थैंक यू।
नमस्कार। प्रश्न नहीं है, मैं बस एक शेयर करना चाह रही हूँ आपके साथ में। राजस्थान राज्य ने अपने चारों कंपोनेंट्स स्टेट करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क के तैयार कर लिए हैं। हमारी स्टीयरिंग कमिटीज़ और शासन स्तर से भी उसका अनुमोदन हो चुका है। यहाँ हम FS और SE की बात कर रहे हैं। हमने एडल्ट एजुकेशन और टीचर एजुकेशन का भी तैयार कर लिया है, और वो हमारे पोर्टल पर मौजूद है। हम NCERT के साथ भी इसको शेयर कर चुके हैं जून के प्रथम सप्ताह में, तो आप लोग भी उसको देख सकते हैं।
ठीक है, हमारा आ जाएगा तब कंपेयर कर लेंगे। थैंक यू।
इस जर्नी में हमारे साथ प्रोफेसर रंजना जी, प्रतिमा कुमारी जी और सुबीर जी भी जुड़े रहे हैं। तो आई होप इसमें अगर आपके भी कोई इनपुट्स आएंगे। थैंक यू सर।
समय ठीक है ना, शेयर कर लेंगे, ठीक है। आपका जी,
Just one question from my side.
अपना इंट्रोडक्शन जरूर दे दीजिए प्लीज़।
चैप्टर 9 जो NCF का है, स्किल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ वोकेशनल एजुकेशन, जब वो मेरे हिसाब से जब वो डेवलप किया गया था तब NCRF नहीं आया। तो NSTF अलाइनमेंट की जब हम बात करते हैं तो उसमें 2 क्वेरी आ रही है। पहली क्वेरी आती है कि हम बोलते हैं 11th को क्लास NSTF लेवल 3 को क्लास 11 से के इक्विवेलेंट बनाएंगे, एनसीआरएफ बोलता है वो 3.5 है। दूसरा जो भी कोर्स है सर नोशनल आवर्स बोलते हैं अलाइनमेंट के लिए 360 आवर्स है, हमने 110 आवर्स है। तो ये थोड़ा कन्फ्लिक्टिंग रिक्वायरमेंट है, इसको हमें
ये बहुत जल्दी सेटल हो रहा है, आप चिंता मत करिए, हम इस पे काम कर रहे हैं और जल्दी अभी क्योंकि उस लेवल पे हम पहुंचे नहीं है डिस्कशन के, तो जब ये मटेरियल डेवलप होगा उससे पहले इसका सॉल्यूशन मिल जाएगा। वी आर ऑन जॉब हैं। थैंक यू।
Just one question from my side, please. Sir.
यस।
Yeah, yeah.
हाँ यस।
Sir, you have presented the NCF school education where you are introducing new subjects as part of the regular from class 6 onwards vocational, physical education, arts and crafts is going to be a part of the curriculum. So how are we making available teachers in the schools? If vocational school, there are multiple skills. So do we have skills teachers for all of those courses?
You see, as far as the middle stage is concerned, the teachers are being trained in that way. We can't have separate teachers for them. Earlier also, it used to be there that we have few teachers, but they were knowing all these crafts and arts. So things are coming up. We are building the capacity of the teachers. In that way, there will not be specific teachers. That's why it will be integrated one. So one teacher can handle, suppose the language teacher, Hindi teacher can handle that issue. Another teacher can handle the vocational issue also. It is activity based. So in that way, the work will be done. Although it is a very relevant question, administrative issue also, because NCRT has the area expertise of developing the curriculum, learning, teaching material. How it has to be taken in the schools, that is a, it requires a lot of administrative and it is a cumulative effort. We all have to come together. And then there is the master trainers, the local craftsmen, they will be utilized for that purpose. It has been said in NEP 2020 that we will be using the local craftsmen. Suppose we are teaching some craft or some art, and locally if there are teachers, then we are also going for the mentor-mentees. So that way it will take time, but it is a collaborative effort. The government will certainly take a note of that, and it is being taken note. So that will take time, but it will come up. No problem. Thank you.
Doing it is that there are a lot of teachers who are also the primary school teachers. They get free a little earlier. So a lot of these skill subjects have been given to them. They are BComs, so they can handle, or they are MComs, or they are graduates. So they are able to handle a lot of subjects from beauty and wellness to the financial literacy to journalism. The language teachers are able to do that. So in the school ecosystem, there are enough teachers to handle the skill subjects. And also there are intensive workshops that we do for the art. So we get the local people, like pottery is taught to the children. We get the local artisans who teach pottery for those 2 months. So there are intensive workshops. So a lot can be done by optimizing the manpower that is there in the school. A biology teacher or a home science teacher she can teach the food production. So a lot of optimization is being done there.
So I think, any question? Yes. Yes.
Yes, we can.
You can take mic.
I just want to ask you a basic question. So, as we know, NCF 2005 was approved on September 2005. And based on that, syllabus was published on the next year, 2006. And we see NCF 2023 was published on last year. So, is NCRT preparing a new syllabus based on this NCF SE? And if so, when?
Yes, very soon you are going to have that. We are working on that.
What about the textbook?
Textbooks are coming.
Based on that syllabus?
Yes, of course. Yes.
That's
1, 2, 3, 6. All textbooks are out.
Secondary.
Yes.
Secondary.
1, 2, no, secondary, it is in phased manner.
Okay.
As you said that in 2005 NCF came, then they finished their job in 2009, in 4 years.
Yes.
It is in a phased manner. You cannot bring out all textbooks at one go. Okay, so I think we have this good time. Thank you very much for cooperating us. And I just want to make it. I earlier also spoke about that. That please, we have requested all the states, and earlier also we shared this NCF FS and NCF SC to the states, and we also disseminated that, and capacity building program was done by NCRT region wise. So please take this forward, because if we do this, you can contextualize, you can do your own ways, but please take this with you from here. This will be the good take of the year, and we have the soft copy of the syllabus, this NCFs with us in pen drives. That will be distributed to all of you, and please do have that and take note of that and take care of that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks to all panelists in accomplishing this job in time. And Secretary sir, I am thankful to you. If you want to have word something, please.
But we can have a photo with you, no?
सभी से आग्रह है कि अभी अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाएं।
Please.
मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा श्री संजय कुमार जी, शिक्षा सचिव, शिक्षा मंत्रालय, भारत सरकार को। सर, अपने व्यापक अनुभवों और शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में किए गए अपने कार्यों के आधार पर इस सत्र में उपस्थित प्रतिभागियों का मार्गदर्शन करें।